Welcome back to the Fulfilled Female Entrepreneur Podcast. It's your host, Cassandra Rosa. I'm a certified coach and healer and intuitive business coach. And the mission behind this podcast is to help you to create a fulfilling life and business. Today, I'm really excited to have Mercedes on the podcast. She's going to be talking about cultivating more self-love and authenticity. Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. I'm really excited to have Mercedes here today talking about self-love. And we're not just going to give you a bunch of self-love tips. We're really going to be taking this topic to the next level, getting to the deeper root of it and helping you to prioritize the whole self-love movement as well as body positivity. I'm really excited to have Mercedes on. We connected on Facebook. First and foremost, I want to thank you so much for coming on. I'm really excited to chat with you today.
Brilliant. Well, thank you for having me on. It's really exciting to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you all the way from the UK, and I'm excited to introduce you. Mercedes is a passionate spiritual transformation coach on a mission to empower people to discover their inner strength and transform their lives. With a profound understanding of personal growth and resilience, Mercedes leads the vibrant inner transformation and awakening community on Facebook that you're all welcome to join. We're going to leave the link in the show notes. Her journey is a story of resilience and self-discovery. Growing up with the challenges of an alcoholic father, Mercedes learned to deal with life's ups and downs at a very young age. Tragically, her father's suicide when she was just 25 became a catalyst for her profound transformation. Leaving behind a corporate job, she embarked on a healing journey, battling depression and self-doubt. Through unwavering determination, she emerged as a shining example of self-acceptance and self-love. Today, Mercedes stands tall, deep-rooted in authenticity, and radiates a love for herself that once felt unattainable. Her coaching is designed to offer some hope to those who are facing trauma, imposter syndrome, perfectionism, and struggled with prioritizing self-care. Mercedes is here to guide you towards a life filled with purpose, confidence, and genuine transformation. Join her on her incredible journey of self-discovery, healing, and awakening, and get ready for a powerful and uplifting experience. Again, you are welcome to join her Inner Transformation and Awakening community on Facebook. Luckily, today, after this recording, I'm actually going to be in there doing an interview, so you're welcome to check that out as well. Thank you so much for sharing your story, in this bio. I can only imagine how difficult that must have been to go through all that at a very young age. But what I really want to commend you for is your resilience and how you took those painful experiences in your life. And now you're at this place of helping guide people through their own inner transformation and journey and coming home to self-love. So thank you for all that you do. And I know it must make a massive difference. I've seen it in your Facebook group, and I'm sure it creates this massive ripple effect, which I think is so powerful for this industry. So on behalf
Definitely,
of
that's the aim.
thank you. Thank you. Yes, for sure. So in the podcast here, it's called Fulfilled Female Entrepreneur. I always love to ask every single one of my guests, what does fulfillment mean to you?
To me, fulfillment is spending the time doing the things that you really love and actually doing a job that you wake up every morning, you don't feel like you're working. And my biggest problem is I never have enough time to do everything that I want to do because life, I kind of have to do life. And sometimes I find myself working and thinking, oh, I haven't cleaned the house for a bit because I've been so absorbed in what I'm doing. And that's kind of the fulfillment when you're actually doing something you love it so much that you lose yourself in it.
Yes. No, I love that. Yeah, it becomes that main focus, and like sometimes the trivial, life stuff, 3D stuff, human stuff just falls to the wayside, and I can completely resonate with that. And yeah, something that doesn't feel like work is so powerful and a dream and something I wish for everybody, right? So in everything that you do, being a catalyst for transformation in your own life and helping people do the same, what's the most fulfilling part for you?
It's when you talk to people and you know that you've made a difference to how they feel about themselves. And when they actually say to you, oh, do you know what, that triggered something in me, so that I realized that someone came to me recently, we were dealing with body love, and she actually said, I didn't realize how much work I had to do in that area, but just working with you, I suddenly have made like huge steps forward because she was able to become aware of it. And that is, it's so fulfilling when you get there, because you realize that everything you're doing is actually worth it. You are having an impact on people's lives.
Yes, that's what it's all about. And I love that. That's what you have shared here today. And today we're talking about self-love. Do you want to talk about your journey of how your experience has been cultivating that self-love and that self-acceptance within you.
Yeah, well, it goes back. I mean, obviously, I've been doing self-development since I was a teenager because my mum got me going on it very young. So it's getting on for nearly 30 years of working on myself. But it was about 10 years ago that I was working through You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. And you
Mhm.
get to the bit where she says, you have to look in the mirror and you have to say your name. You have to say, Mercedes, I love you. And I literally couldn't look at myself in the mirror. I couldn't look at myself in the eyes. I couldn't do it. And I had to work really hard to get there. And I think since then, it's been a really long journey of learning about myself, um, like a lot of self-discovery. And that's kind of what I teach people, that you can't love yourself unless you really know who you are. And then you start to learn who you are from the inside out. And then you start to love yourself because you can be more authentic. You can be more you because you now know who you are. Because we spend so much of our lives kind of pretending to be someone else, even subconsciously. We're just being the person that we think everybody wants us to be, and we're not really thinking about who it is that we actually are and what it is we want to do. I mean, that's what originally led me into the corporate world, because I was at university and I had literally no idea what to do, and everybody was like, well, this is a good path for you. And I just followed this path and I was on it, and I was just on this train, and there was no conscious thought about, was this something that I actually really wanted to do? I was just doing what I thought. And kind of that's where self-love comes in, where we get off that train and we say, what is it that I actually want to do with my life, and where do I want to take myself, and what does I want to make my decisions consciously rather than just subconsciously doing the things that I think I'm supposed to.
Wow. There's so much to unpack about what you just said, but what I really want to highlight and, exclamation mark and circle in what you just said is this whole concept of self-love is really about doing what's like authentic to you. Long
Yeah,
story short, right? And like
yeah,
doing what feels right for you, and it's being very conscious and aware of that versus being on that like airplane mode of doing what everybody wants for you. Because I can completely resonate with that whole concept of your story of being in university and like not knowing what you wanted to do and kind of going through the motions of everybody else. Like that's a big part of my story. So I resonate with that deeply, and I really love that kind of definition. But I really want to go a little bit deeper in something that you said when you're doing that Louise Hay exercise of looking in the mirror and saying, Mercedes, I love you. Can you really explain that a little bit more of what that experience was of looking in the mirror and not being able to say those words? And what do you think was holding you back from doing that? Because I think a lot of people experience that same thing when they're doing an exercise like that.
mm. I think it's because I wasn't living my authentic self. So I wasn't connected with me. So the person I was looking at in the mirror wasn't me, if that makes sense. So I was looking at somebody who I thought I should be, and so it was really hard for me to love that reflection because that wasn't who I really was. And so
Mm.
there was a huge disconnect, and I think that's where you really struggle, is because you're not being who you really are. It's very hard to love the person you're looking at, love the person you're being, and we're not aware of the fact that we're not loving ourselves. And so, and actually, talking about getting on the train of doing what everyone thinks, you then get to the point where you hear self-love and people talk about self-love, self-care, and you start doing the things that everybody says. So you go and get yourself a massage and get your nails done, and you think, oh, I'm doing self-love, I'm doing self-care, but you're not, because you're just doing the things that everybody says you should be doing to care for yourself. And you're still not thinking, okay, what is it that makes me happy? So for me, I would probably bore most people, but I've got a sewing machine. I've got 4 sewing machines, but that's another story. And I like making clothes for my son and for myself. And I will go into my room and I'll sew for like 2 or 3 hours. I won't even think about it. To me, that's self-care and self-love, because it's something I really enjoy and that lights me up. And so it's not just doing the traditional things. This is about getting deep into understanding who you are. Then you can look at yourself in the mirror and you can love yourself, because you know that what you're looking at is you, and really you. And the core of you, and core of everybody, is lovable. We all have this lovable core, but we cover it so much with all this other stuff, and that's what we struggle to love. And when we can shed those layers, then we can really love who we are.
Mm. You're just like a full of so much wisdom, like every response, there's so many golden nuggets to highlight. And what I really loved about what you were saying, going back to the mirror thing, starting there, it's that whole authenticity piece. And it's almost like you're not recognizing who you are in the mirror, because there's like a misalignment of who you want to be and who is in front of you in that mirror. So I love that you highlighted that, because I think that that's a big piece of awareness for people. If you're doing an exercise like that, seeing if you recognize yourself and see if you're living in your authenticity. And something else I love that you shared is this whole concept of doing these self-love things because everyone's telling you to do it, to take the bubble bath, to do the face mask, to say affirmations, like all those things. And even preparing for this, I was like, I want to go deeper into this self-love
Mm.
conversation, because you can do all of those things. It's great. Those contribute to self-love, but living in your authenticity and stepping away from the mainstream way of doing things and living in your authentic truth is such a powerful message. So I was wondering if you can just expand upon that a little bit more, of what self-love means to you, and in your experience, in your journey of cultivating that within yourself, where do you stand now, and how would you define what self-love means to you in this moment?
So one of the biggest things for me with self-love is it's finding what you can do that puts you in flow. And
Mm,
if people often they're not aware of what flow is, but it's that time you're doing something and you can lose hours of your life doing it because um, you're just enjoying it so much. And we all have things like that that really light us up. And I get a lot of people come to me and they say they feel stuck and they're stuck in their lives. And my biggest advice I can give to them is, when we feel stuck, what we do is we go outside of ourselves to look for a solution to get unstuck. Okay. But when we start to love ourselves, we go in and we find the things that light us up, the things we enjoy. We naturally become unstuck because we start working with the universe. We start working with our inner strength. And so when we can do that, we start to love everything that we are and that we do. And it's loving your core, it's loving what you do, it's loving who you are, and it's loving everything about yourself. So when we talk about body love, I was talking about body positivity to you earlier, and body positivity is something created by quite a lot by the marketing industry for cosmetics and beauty products, where we're supposed to just love our bodies for how it looks. And it's a bit like saying just think positively, right? It's really hard place for people to get to. So what I like to teach people is about body neutrality. So you start to connect with what your body actually does for you, and then we start to really love ourselves for everything. So your body helps you to breathe. Every breath we take, we should be grateful for. And when you start to become aware of, this is what my body does, this is what I can love about it, you start to love yourself on a much deeper level. And we go below, but underneath the appearance and getting this perfect idea of what we should look like, and we don't stop to worry about it. So it's not about running around going, I love how I look, because if you're not there, you're not there, and you're not going to get there just by saying it. But it's about going underneath that and going deeper and knowing what it is about my body that I can love, that I can accept. And then once you start doing that, you can filter out, what do I love about the way I interact with people? What do I do every day that is a great thing that I do? Do you know, it could be little things like having a cuddle with my son is a wonderful thing, and actually taking that time to give him that my love as well, that's a positive thing that I can start to love myself for, because I'm doing something loving.
mm.
And we start to become aware of all of those things deep in the little things we do every day that contribute to other people. That's what we need to start loving, and not looking at the kind of external
Yes.
thing of us.
I love that. I love that. Making that small shifts, looking at those small things that you're already doing. It's not about adding, it's not about adding affirmations. It's not about adding things into your routine. It's like looking at presently where you are now and creating that shift. So if someone's looking in the mirror and they're doing that love exercise, that Louise Hay exercise, and they can't say I love you, and they're feeling misaligned, maybe it has to do with their career, maybe it has to do with their relationships, maybe it's looking at themselves in the mirror and their body is not where it's at, and they're looking to make that shift. You had just mentioned about looking at those things that you're doing now, those small things, and being grateful and looking at that positivity. But what are 3 other steps that the listeners can do if they want to shift into that state of cultivating more self-love and alignment and authenticity within themselves, and kind of stepping away from that disconnection that's happening within?
Okay, so one of these, obviously, if you're doing that mirror exercise, one of the things I would say is to keep doing it, because
Mhm.
it does become easier the more you actually do it, and that does help you to connect with yourself. And obviously, we looked at sort of being aware of the little things that you do every day, but one of the things that can be always useful is to write down a list of all the positive achievements that you've done in your life, because we actually have all achieved a lot.
Mhm.
and we ignore those things that we've achieved and write them down on a nice piece of paper and actually put it on the wall so that you can look at it on a regular basis. These are the things that I have done and that I have contributed towards, and that's going to help to try and shift your mindset a little bit towards negative viewpoint to positive. And then sometimes it's, like I said about body, write down all the things that your body does for you right now as well. So start to journal about those, all the things that your body does for you that you like, that you love. What do you love about your body? What are the things that you can say, actually, I do love that? Because there is a lot that we already love and we're not aware of it.
Mm.
And then it's becoming aware of all the things that you love to do. Because so often we go through our lives and we live and we get up, we go to work, we come home, we eat, we go to bed, and we don't do the things we love. So
Mhm.
taking stock of all the things that you love to do and fitting some of those into your routine, and it might not be every day, but as much as you can, trying
Yeah,
to find time for the things that you love, and that will just, these little things gradually shift your mindset as you do them all the time.
I love that. I love how you're saying when you're making that list of all those accomplishments to post it up somewhere so that you can see it consistently. And I would also love to add a little bit to that of the small things too. Maybe
Yeah.
it's like, you know, some small accomplishment that you got, some sort of breakthrough that you experienced, something that you let go of, like all those little things make a huge difference and to get you to where you are in the present moment. And I think something as simple as being aware of what you love and doing it, adding it in your life, having a specialty tea or coffee in the morning. It doesn't even need to be some big things like incorporating a big hobby in your life. Those small things are a wonderful way to cultivate love and to help you to formulate what is the way for you to express love to yourself. And for people that are looking at all those things that they love, they have their list in front of them. What would you say to people to help them to prioritize themselves more and prioritize self-love?
Okay, this is obviously a problem that a lot of people have, where they're worried about letting people down by not doing things for them. And the thing I would always say is that if you are depleted completely and you're not taking care of yourself, you cannot properly take care of anybody else. So
Right.
every time you do an act of self-love and you prioritize yourself, you're actually being of service to the people you care about, because then you've got the energy and the inspiration to help them
Mhm.
actually much better than you can right now. So if you can shift it to, I'm prioritizing myself and I'm being selfish, to I'm doing these things for myself so that I can then do more for other people, you then feel you can then actually sidestep the people pleasing and all of that, because you are people pleasing by pleasing yourself.
Yes, I love that. An image kind of to see too is like you can't pour from an empty cup. You have to
Yeah.
pour yourself an overflow because if you're in overflow, naturally the water's going to go over the side and naturally nourish everybody around you. So it's important to do that. I love that.
It's the same
You-
with your mood. So if you're happy, if
Yeah.
you're making yourself feel happy, that will infect everybody else that you're around. So they will feel happier. So if you're taking care of yourself, you feel better. They will naturally feel better anyway.
Yeah, it's all of our energy and we are energetic beings going through a human experience. So people feel that and transcend that. And you have a Facebook group called Inner Transformation and Awakening Community. Do you want to talk a little bit about that, what the purpose of the group is, and what people can expect from coming in and joining it?
Yeah, I mean, the whole point is to get a group of people together that they want to move themselves forward, connect with themselves a lot better,
Mhm.
and see where they can take themselves, and to do that with a group of people that are all supportive. So we'll share our journeys together. I put coaching in there every week, and I do live meditations as well, which are available through the group. So there's lots of things that you can kind of get hold of, and then there's lots of people to connect with, because there's lots of people in there that are going through the same thing as you. So people are there you can share, and it's an amazing community. It's really building up at the moment, so it's really fantastic.
That's awesome. We're going to leave a link in the show notes to that. So, do you want to talk a little bit about your coaching, like what it is that you do? So, if people are resonating with you, they can find out what's the way that they can collaborate with you and work with you on their journey.
Yeah. I obviously work with people who are looking to love themselves more. They're looking to develop their ability to manifest the life that they want to live, because we all want that life, the perfect life. And this is about helping you to find your perfect life, and not necessarily the one that you see in the magazines, but this is your perfect life. And that's what I help people do. I also have a number of programs to do, group programs, and for people who want to get in at the bottom level, there's the self-love circle that I run, which is $7 a month. And that's coaching once a month in a group setting. And there's content on there to be learning from, meditations. There's lots available on it. So it's an affordable way for people to start working on themselves.
That's awesome. We're going to leave a link to the group. And where can they connect with you if they want to be a part of your circle and work with you more in depth?
Through the group and through Facebook, I'm there all the time. So if they want to join the group or they want to friend me directly and message me, I'm around. They can come through that.
Awesome. We're going to leave the links in the show notes or in this video for them to connect with you. Any final words that you want to share before we wrap up our interview for today?
Just thank you for having me. And just for people that are listening, to remember that when we do personal development, this isn't about changing who you are. It's about starting to love who you are and accepting everything that you are and taking that forward in a more positive way.
Amazing. I love that. I love that. I think that's so important and a beautiful share to wrap this up. Thank you for sharing all your wisdom, your personal experience with us today. It means so much. And I really appreciate this connection.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you'll be notified every time I'll upload a new video on Thursday. See you in the next one. Bye.